Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The Studio. My name is Adam, and of course, thank you to my studio VIP, Luke Uyamura, and thank you to today's featured studio artist, who is Marina Simmons. Thank you for joining the studio artist family. And if you would like to become a studio artist or studio VIP, you can go to patreon.com/AdamTan, or you can click over here. And of course, all studio artists and VIPs will be receiving a discount on my brand new piece coming very, very soon. Speaking of new pieces, today's episode is a very special one because I was recently sent a whole package of music by a company named Edition Svitzer. Now, if you don't know Edition Svitzer, they are a publisher based in Copenhagen, Denmark. So very, very far from Perth, Western Australia. And Johan Svitzer, who is the person in charge of Edition Svitzer, sent me 36 scores to review on the show. 36 scores, wow! If you've already checked out my vlog channel, you would have seen my reaction. I was literally very shocked. The Studio Adam Tan. Wow! So thank you so much, Johan, for sending me all of this music. I really appreciate it. And this video is not sponsored. I'm not being paid to say nice things about Edition Svitzer or anything like that. I just really like Edition Svitzer as a company, and I really like the music they produce, so why not? Because I'd only just gotten the music, I hadn't really looked at it in detail. So now it's been a couple of days and I've looked at all of the music in the collection. I've sorted them all out and I've had a read through some of the music, some really great pieces in here. So I thought I would share it with you guys, especially because when I did my top 10 marimba solos video, everyone was talking about how they want more ideas for what to play in their recitals or in their juries or whatever. So if you're looking for music to learn over summer or in college or whatever, this is the video for you. So out of the 36 scores I'm about to show you, all of them have marimba as the significant instrument, either marimba solos or duos or ensemble pieces that feature marimba or concertos. They're all marimba because Johan knows that I play a lot of marimba. Edition Svitzer does make other music, not just marimba music, but since I know most about marimba, it makes sense that I talk about the marimba music. So yeah, there's something for everyone in this collection, and if you'd like to purchase any of this music, I have the links to all of the pieces mentioned in this video in the description below. That's right, even if you're too impatient to watch the whole video, you can just go straight into the description and you'll see the full list over there. But anyway, let's begin. Woo! I'm gonna start off with this pile of music here, which is all from my friend in Sydney. His name is, of course, Robert Oetomo. If you don't know Robert Oetomo, he's the guy that wrote the Somewhere Over the Rainbow arrangement, and he's also written a lot of other pieces. And this is just a small sample of the stuff that he's written. He publishes for Edition Svitzer as well as Tap Space. Rob, I hope to see you in a couple of weeks at the Australian Marimba competition, but shout out to you. So the first piece I have here is Soar, which is Concerto No. 1 for marimba and string orchestra. It's very, very cinematic sounding, very grand. I think grandioso would be the word for it. It is just a very cool concerto for anyone looking to learn their first concerto. Now, this particular version of the score is a piano reduction version. It's not the orchestra version, so it's a piano score on the inside, and it's also got the marimba score separately. By the way, Edition Svitzer, the quality of your scores is just outstanding. The quality of the artwork, the quality of the covers, everything is so nice. I really, really like it. And something that a lot of people pointed out to me is that Edition Svitzer engraves your name on the front of these scores when you order from them. So this one says, The Studio Adam Tan. Every single score in this video has the words, The Studio Adam Tan written on the front. How cool is that? So yeah, if you're looking for a relatively intermediate level concerto, Soar. Next up in Rob's collection, we have 3 chorale books, each with 3 chorales. So it's 3 lots of 3 chorales. 3 chorales for solo marimba. So we've got 3 chorales for solo marimba volume 1, 3 chorales for solo marimba volume 2, and 3 chorales for solo marimba volume 3. I think people underestimate the power of a good chorale on solo marimba. I think really nice chorales have an equal footing next to things like virtuosic moto perpetua, choppy works that go. It's nice to see that Rob has dedicated 3 volumes worth of chorales. Volume 1 is definitely more of your standard sort of chorale stuff, so it's all rolled. Volume 2, the chorales start to get a little bit more intense. There's more notes. The voice leading is more advanced. And volume 3, which I think is the most interesting one, is arrangements of famous orchestral works that have been put into solo marimba chorale form, which I think is great. I love it when we can put serious classical music on the marimba and it still sounds good. So we got like a Dvorak Largo from New World Symphony. Now there's actually a quote here from Gordon Stout in the foreword that says, "Because I believe that the softer expressive side of the marimba is something that needs to be more developed in many people's playing." True, but when it comes to soft, beautiful playing, very few people spend time on it, so I'm glad that we have these chorales to practice our very soft, expressive playing. The next work from Rob's collection is called Song and Dance, and Song and Dance is for solo marimba and percussion trio. So we've got solo marimba line, and then we've got vibraphone, suspended cymbal, tambourine, darabuka, wind gong, bark tree, tubular bells. There's quite a lot of instruments. And once again, it comes with the score as well as all of the separate parts, which I think is awesome. A lot of people skim on separate parts, but I like that Edition Svitzer not only prints out the separate parts, but prints them in a good size, like not 8.5 by 17.25 paper or whatever. Like, it's just normal paper that you can actually copy. Thank you, Edition Svitzer. Thank you for using normal paper sizes. Next up from Rob is 2 lullabies for solo marimba, and this picture reminds me of Gudetama. I don't know if any of you guys know Gudetama, but it's basically a sleeping egg. What I really like about Rob's pieces is that he dedicates his pieces to people. So for this one, it's dedicated to Jasmine Kohlberg, who was one of his teachers. Just really pretty music. So if you're looking for music for your next dinner date, 2 lullabies for solo marimba. This one is called Album for the Young. It's a collection of miniatures for solo marimba. I really like this picture, it's really cute. As the name suggests, Album for the Young is just a bunch of really short pieces, definitely on the easier side. So this would be suitable for people who are just starting out on the instrument, just starting out on 4 mallet grip. I think this would be really great. We have 2 volumes of 4 Fantasies for solo marimba from Rob. Again, we've got volume 1 and volume 2. Fantasy is a term that is used a lot in marimba repertoire. There's a lot of pieces called fantasy on the theme of this, fantasy on the theme of that. And usually fantasy refers to improvisation that has been written down. So when they have a fantasy on a theme, they usually take it and they improvise over it, which is basically what I do in my mallet reviews, but mine's a little bit more crass. But these are really short pieces. They're all only about 4 pages long. Rob, why are you so good at everything? So yeah, 2 volumes of Fantasies. And the final piece from Rob is Etude di Paganini for solo marimba. And of course, if you don't know who Paganini is, maybe you should find another job. No, I'm kidding, Paganini was on violin, so it's okay. Just like a lot of violin repertoire, Paganini gets transcribed onto marimba quite a lot, and it's nice to see that Rob has done exactly that. Very deep, wow. Wow, look at all that detail. Seriously, wow. And I really also like that you write simple pieces, like your fantasies, and things for people who are not looking for, you know, really choppy, heavy stuff. And of course, more chorales is always a good thing. So thank you, Rob. Thank you, Edition Svitzer. Next up, we have someone who I was only recently acquainted with. It is, of course, Sergey Golovko, director at the Australian Percussion Academy in Melbourne, which is a school that basically just teaches percussion. It's a really cool place. I've never been there before, but I've seen the pictures. I will probably pay it a visit when I go to Melbourne in a couple of weeks' time. But yeah, I've got 3 of Sergey's works over here. And the first one, which is the most notable one, is the brand new premiered Russian Marimba Concerto, which was premiered by Sergey, I think, last year. This is actually the signature work for this year's Australian Marimba competition. Good luck to everyone who's in the AMC this year. I will see you all at the concert. It's going to be awesome. Awesome work, Sergey, on your concerto. I really like it. We have Sergey Golovko's Tales for Marimba, Volume 2. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Tales for Marimba is a set of studies, sort of like etude type pieces. You can see here, it's basically just like lateral strokes and rolls. So it basically works on all of the technical aspects of marimba, with some really short pieces. So this is good. And finally, I've got a piece called Fugitive Desires. I love orange. Orange is a great color. Fugitive Desires is interesting because Sergey describes this as a long cadenza, as in you can sort of freely do bits like this. You can see it's not a continuous score, so you can repeat these as many or as little times as you like. Kind of like Toccata, but even more free. Awesome work, Sergey. I really like the stuff. Next up, we've got our first Danish composer in the lineup, and Johan was like, Adam, it would be hilarious if you tried to pronounce the names of the Danish composers. And I'm going to make a complete fool of myself because I suck at pronouncing things, as you know. I couldn't even pronounce Tony Michelli properly, so like, I don't know how I'm gonna do with these. So here I've got some works from Max I'm really sorry, Max, I'm just having a guess here, but Max Seidel. I'm just gonna go with Seidel for now, and if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. So I have here 2 volumes of Tales for Vibraphone. Again, the artwork is just stunning on these works. I really like that. I'm a big fan of individual artworks on each piece because things like the Australian Music Centre, for example, all of the covers are exactly the same, so it doesn't really have much personality, but these are all dripping personality from the covers. I just love it. So Tales for Vibraphone, as you might expect, is basically a bunch of arrangements of popular tunes for vibraphone. So if you're looking for popular music for vibraphone, for for example, Over the Rainbow, Sophisticated Lady, Duke Ellington, and they've all been transcribed very well onto vibraphone. We've got a whole bunch of marimba and vibraphone duos in here, so I think this would be great for a lot of people because a lot of people keep asking me, what should I play for marimba and vibraphone? And everyone suggests things like Carousel and Losar. This book is full of them, so go get it. Volume 4, Tales for Vibraphone. Next up we have this pile of music from a composer named Daniel Berge, who I think is from Sweden. And these artworks are really, really cute. I really like it. It's like a girl playing marimba on the floor. Now, all of this music here is easy music. They're all called easy something. So I've got easy solos and easy duos, and it's designed more for beginner and intermediate players. So those of you who have students, or if you're a beginner yourself, this might be really good for you. So we've got 4 volumes of easy solos. We've got Easy Solos Volume 1, which is blue, Easy Solos Volume 2, which is green, Easy Solos Volume 3, which is purple, and Easy Solos Volume 4, which is this brown-red color. And true to the name, Easy Solos is pretty easy. They're all very short works. Like for example, this is how short the first work is in Easy Solos Volume 1, To Sail When It's Raining, for marimba, xylophone, or vibraphone. So there's even a bit of flexibility for different schools' needs. What I really like about this collection from Daniel is that every single one of these pieces has a little description at the end telling you a little bit of history about why the piece is called what it is. And this is really good because it's really educational for kids or for people who are just curious or people who just want to find meaning. So for example, this piece is called Reflection, and it's got a really cute picture there of a girl thinking about herself. And there's a little box at the top that says, take time for thoughts, time for reflection. Well done, Daniel. This is really awesome stuff. I will pass this on to my students for sure. So as you might assume, the further you go through the Easy Solos collection, the harder it gets. So this is Easy Solos Volume 4, dedicated to none other than Mitchell Peters. Oh, I think some of you guys know who Mitchell Peters is. And this piece is called Zen Refractions After the Rain because it combines the themes of Zen Wanderer, Yellow After the Rain, and Sea Refractions, aka 3 of the most famous intermediate to beginner level pieces for marimba. And on the other hand, we have Easy Duets, which is the same thing but for duets. It's a picture of a girl playing with a guy, and the guy is obviously way too keen to speed through it, and she's just like, nope. Blue for Volume 1, green for Volume 2, purple for Volume 3, and red for Volume 4. And as you would assume, these are all duets that are relatively straightforward, very short, and they all also have the description, they have a dedication, they all have pictures in them. If you want something easy, if you're a beginner or you have students who are beginners, then this is a pretty good choice. Now we're moving on to this massive pile here, which is just all music that didn't really fall into any of the other categories. These are all from different composers around the world, and I really like that. Like, I've never had such a diverse selection of music from people who are marimbists, people who are not marimbists, just composers, people who are just normal percussionists, and everyone in between, and they're all around the world, all in this one publishing company called Edition Svitzer. So it's really awesome that Edition Svitzer has such a diverse range of artists on board. And yeah, I look forward to seeing more work from them. Now the first piece I have here is Libertango, which is of course Piazzolla, and it's arranged by Fumito Nunoya. Now most of you guys are probably familiar with Libertango arranged by Samu. That's probably the most famous Libertango arrangement for marimba. But this one is different because it's marimba and piano. So we have a piano score and a marimba solo part, which I think is very interesting. It's definitely a very different type of Libertango, but all the same, it has the same sort of feel, it has the same sort of cheekiness. This is awesome. Next up, we have an arrangement of a Japanese traditional tune called Furusato Hometown, and it's arranged by the one and only Eriko Daimo. So if you don't know Eriko, she's an amazing player from Japan. She has a very distinctive style of solo marimba playing. I really like it. And she played Furusato as an encore, and she really likes it because it reminds her of home, which I think is really sweet. Now, Furusato is only 2 pages long. See, look, only 2 pages long. It's very short, very simple. So if you're looking for maybe something as an encore or something nice to play, I don't know, at your friend's wedding or something. Furusato. Ooh! I really like the artwork on this cover. Check this out. I think it's a guy holding up a girl, but they're on fire, like. Fire makes everything better. This is Khachaturian's Adagio from Spartacus, arranged by, this is one of those Swedish names, Johan Söderholm. Söderholm? Is that right? Oh man, I'm so embarrassing. I'll just call him Johan because I know Johan is correct. So Spartacus is a pretty dark ballet. I mean, it's about things like war and slavery, and I think it's really admirable that Johan has transcribed this whole thing onto solo marimba, like a full-size ballet into solo marimba. That's very impressive. Definitely a work more for advanced players, so give it a go if you're looking for a challenge. Now this next one caught my eye very early on because it's very, very thick And once I saw the cover, I was like, wow, are you serious? That's right, it's Holst's Planets for Percussion Ensemble. I've never heard the Planets played by a percussion ensemble, so this is very exciting. Of course, if you don't know the Planets, you should probably find another job. Seriously though, this is arranged by Scott Weatherson, and there are a lot of parts. There's a Glock 1, Glock 2, Xylo 1, Xylo 2, Vibraphone 1, Vibraphone 2, Marimba 1, 2, 3, and Timpani. Wow, it's really well done. I remember the Jupiter movement of the Planets the best, and this is very, very detailed. Like every last passage is in this. It's awesome. Unfortunately, I have never tried this before, so I can't really tell you much about it, but if you're looking for something for your percussion ensemble, 10 players, that is different and is the Planets, give this a go. That's awesome, Scott. Seriously, arranging the Planets for percussion ensemble. I would have never thought of that. And just when you thought that was impressive, ready? Oh, Stravinsky's Firebird Suite for percussion ensemble. What? Here's another name that I have to pronounce. It's Janoskovacs. I'm assuming it's Janos Kovacs, is that right? It's a Romanian name. I'm not too good with Romanian names because I don't really know many Romanian people, but Janos arranged Firebird Suite for percussion ensemble. Like that is just goals right there. That is goals. Now there are 4 parts in this arrangement. There's a vibraphone part, a Xylo Marimba part. I don't think I've seen a Xylo Marimba in ages. A Marimba 1 and a Marimba 2 part. So 4 people can play Firebird as a percussion ensemble. That is insane. And of course it comes with all the individual parts as well. This definitely looks very challenging. I don't think this is for the faint-hearted, but if you have an ensemble that is very ballsy and knows how to do stuff like this, give it a try. Firebird for percussion ensemble. Only available at Edition Svitzer. Next up we have another Errico Daimo arrangement. It's called Intermezzo from Cavalleria Rusticana by Pietro Mascagni. And you can see this is a very thin score, right? And that's because, again, it's a 2-page arrangement from Errico. That just means in a recital you can have like 5 of these instead of having 2 really long works. I really like the idea of these miniatures that are based on popular tunes or popular classical works, and yeah, this is no exception. I think this is more of a chorale sort of feel. It says all rolls, sentito, semple, legatissimo. So it's basically all rolls, nice chorales. Errico is really good at chorales, so we should all aim to play chorales so we can get that real soft sensitivity on the marimba, and this is a good example of that. Okay, next up we have Luminosity by Tomasz Galiński. Okay, I think this one is a bit easier to pronounce. Luminosity was written for Ludwig Albert, and it was the set piece for the Universal Marimba competition. So it is definitely a serious piece. It's definitely more for advanced players. As you can see, some of the passages get quite tricky. It's not quite moto perpetuo. There are gaps in it here and there, but overall it is pretty intense looking. So if you're looking for something virtuosic, Luminosity. This one's one of my favorites. This is one that I'm learning right now. It is Lemuria, the Fallen Civilization by Saba Zoltan Marjan. This is a really serious marimba work. I've seen a lot of people play this on YouTube, and I'd known about it before Edition Svitzer sent it to me, but I didn't actually try playing it until recently because now I have the score, obviously. And it is a great piece. I feel like it's moto perpetuo done well. I know that's a little bit scathing, but a lot of moto perpetuo works are just boring. This one has a lot of different feels, a lot of different modulations in time and tempo and dynamics. There's a lot of dynamic contrast involved. I've learned 4 pages of this so far out of the 17 pages required, and it is just so much fun. I'm having so much fun with this. Definitely a piece that requires very competent lateral skill, and he's been really nice. He kind of helps you along with these little stickings. Like here it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 3, 2. I was doing it a different way and it wasn't working, so it's nice to have these little hints along the way. A really great solo marimba showpiece. I think this is about 10 minutes long, so it's definitely a significant work. I really like it, and I hope I can play it by the end of the year. Now, you might remember in my top 10 marimba solos video, I mentioned a piece called Wind by Chin Cheng Lin. I've got another Chin Cheng Lin work here called Tango for Nariko, and I find that tangos are very popular on marimba because it really lets you use the bass end of a 5 octave with that dun 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 sort of feel, so I can see why it's so popular on marimba. Now this is called Tango for Nariko, so obviously Nariko is Nariko Takada, who is another Japanese marimbist. It's really groovy. I tried my hand at the first 2 pages, and obviously I need to work on my note accuracy. So this tango is sort of the same sort of deal. You have to be very confident with the range of a 5 octave marimba, and you have to know where all the notes are. I think Nariko is really good at that, so it's perfect for her. If you're looking for something really groovy, really fun, it's got this really cool sextuplet piano bit in the middle, which I think is really, really nice. So Tango for Naoko. Next up we have another arrangement from a famous marimbist. The famous marimbist is of course Wei Chen Lin. If you haven't heard of Wei Chen Lin, he is an absolute beast. He's just really clinical and really precise with his playing, and this is Marcha del Tannhauser by Francisco Tarrega, and he's arranged it for solo marimba. Shall I say very rondo a la turca-ish? It's very straightforward. It's definitely a march. There's no question about that. It's definitely not an easy piece, but it's a good example of how people can put classical sort of music on the marimba. And Wei Chen Lin is a master of that, so if you're looking for something that will make you play just like him, Marcha del Tannhauser. Another marimba solo work, we've got Sonata for Marimba by Marcin Blasewicz. And Marcin is not a percussionist at all, he's a composer, so it's really nice to see marimba music that is written by people who have no marimba influence whatsoever, because it means they don't write in a way that's kind of like and yeah, definitely a very typical sonata type work. It's not too difficult. I think this is a very good intermediate level piece. It is a little bit quick, but it's not that difficult in terms of notes. The notes are pretty straightforward. So I think this would be pretty good to learn if you're looking for something that is more classical, I suppose, more like something you would play on piano. This is the one. Now the last two pieces I'm going to talk about in this video, they just so happen to be next to each other in the pile, and I find it pretty funny that one of them is Nancy Zeltzman's arrangement and one of them is Pius Cheng, and as you know, Pius Cheng was Nancy Zeltzman's student, so coincidence? I think not. Now this is Nancy Zeltzman's arrangement of Dance by Claude Debussy, which is for marimba duo. Now because it's Debussy and it's impressionistic, it's not like super full-on notey moto perpetuo type stuff. It's not slow, but it's very graceful, simple sort of music that has really nice harmony, and the dynamic level is basically most of the time at a very, very low level. So you're not gonna find any sort of Merlin type passages here, and I think that's really good for anyone looking to play some nice Debussy type music on marimba. And because it is a duo, there's definitely more here than there is with solo arrangements of Debussy. I think the last time I played Debussy on a percussion instrument was Arabesque on vibraphone, and that was nice, but it was a little bit thin. So I'm really glad that there are two parts here. One of them is a bass part and one of them is a treble part. That is awesome. And as you guys know, Nancy is a really cool person. I'm pretty sure anything she touches turns to gold. So go check this out if you're looking for some Debussy. And finally, the last score I have here in this collection of 36 scores is Pius Cheng's Poetic Fantasy. Now normally Pius Cheng publishes his work independently, whether it's hard copy or PDF. And this is one of the few works that isn't published by himself. I don't think I've ever seen a tempo marking of quarter note equals 33. So I think that gives you a bit of an idea of what this kind of piece is. If you've ever heard recordings of Poetic Fantasy, it is very slow, very melancholic, and then it sort of gets a little bit faster. I would say it definitely takes a few cues from like Chopin with the whole cross rhythm thing, you know, the 3 against 2 and all that kind of stuff. But it is really nice. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with Pius's work, like Etude in E minor, Etude in D major, the Nocturnes. They're all very pianistic in a way, very neo-romantic sort of style. And I really like that Pius brings that sort of music, which is music that I grew up with when I used to study piano. So I really have to thank you for that, Pius, as a former pianist, because I had a connection with that sort of music, and now I can have it again on marimba. So that is all of the music in this collection. I've actually been filming for almost an hour now, going through all of this music. I'm sure this video will be a lot shorter than an hour, but wow! Thank you so much, Johan, and thank you so much, Edition Svitzer, for sending me all of this music so quickly and so promptly, and then putting my name on all of them. Just really awesome people. As always, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and please let me know in the comments below whether you're going to play any of these pieces from Svitzer. Again, if you'd like to see any of them, or if you'd like to buy any of them, they are all in the description below. Every single one of them, all 36 of them, in the description below. Also, let me know in the comments below if you have anything that you want to suggest for the show, or if you want to ask me any questions, let me know. I'm thinking of doing a Q&A very soon because we are almost on 4,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you haven't already, please click that red subscribe button below to keep up with my uploads. I'm still uploading weekly for you guys. I always want to give you guys the best quality, fresh percussion content that I can give. And for all of you guys asking me about my new piece, once again, it is coming. I'm still working on it. I'm still trying to iron out bits and pieces of it, but it will be done very, very soon. And when it is, you will see it on this channel. So stay subscribed, stay connected to my Facebook and all that sort of stuff in the description below, because that is where I will first release it, and you guys will be the first to know about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week for another episode of The Studio. Good night.